Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. I want you to think about whatever's going on in your life right now. I know, I'm sorry. And I want you to ask yourself, would an infinite being truly choose this? Think about something that you're going through in your life right now and ask yourself, would an infinite, unlimited being choose this? I want you to take a second to think about your state of abundance. I want you to think right now what you think of as your state of abundance. And ask yourself, would an infinite being choose this? I'd like you to think about your bank account right now. Even those of you who think you're so spiritual that you never think about money. And ask yourself, would an infinite being choose this bank account? I'd like for you to think about your love life. I'd like you to think about your love life. Would you please think about your love life? And that's not just romantic lovers. Your love life. And ask yourself, would an infinite being choose this? Think about your body. Think about your health. And ask yourself, would an infinite being choose this? Think about what you do every day, what you think of as your function, what you do as a living, for a living, what you do in the world, how you are expressing yourself, your function. What you do every day, what you get up every day and go do every day. And ask yourself, would an infinite being choose this? Would an infinite being spend their day doing this? And if it's something that brings you joy and you feel satisfaction and you feel fulfillment, then you know you're fulfilling your function. If you feel a sense of satisfaction, if you feel a sense of fulfillment, if you feel a sense of fun, you feel a sense of purpose in what you do all day, then you're fulfilling your function. Because the Course teaches that your function and your happiness are the same thing. Your function and your happiness are the same thing. Your function and your happiness are one. They are the same thing. So therefore, if I am not experiencing joy, if I'm not feeling happy, am I truly fulfilling my function? And if you want to let go of judgment, from this moment forward, tell yourself everything is just an interesting point of view. I just have my own interesting point of view. And everyone else just has their own interesting point of view, and their point of view isn't any more valid than your point of view, that you have just as much right to your point of view and they have just as much right to their point of view, and the way that you see things is just your point of view. It's just your point of view. It doesn't mean that it's the only point of view. It doesn't even mean that it's the correct point of view. It just means it's your point of view. That's how one of the main ways you let go of judgment. Stop calling it judgment and just start saying, I have a point of view about you. I have a point of view about me. I have a point of view about this. I have a point of view. Would you like to hear my point of view? Would you like to hear my point of view? Would you like to hear my point of view? Would you like to hear my point of view? That way, if someone has a different one, then you won't feel so much resistance to it. It's just your point of view and their point of view. Live in the question. Live in the question. Whatever you want to manifest in your life, whatever you'd like to see happen in your life, put it in the form of a question instead of trying to put it in the form of an answer. Put it in the form of a question. And the question that leads into today's Course of Love class would be, What would it take to realize that love is true beyond my wildest imagination? What would it take to realize that love is true, that love is real, that love exists beyond my wildest imagination? What would it take to realize that love is true beyond my wildest imagination? What would it take to realize that love is true beyond my wildest imagination? Because it's not about planning. It's not about planning. It's not about planning. It's about a present moment knowing. It's not about planning. It's about a present moment knowing. It's about knowing who you really are from moment to moment. It's about acting out of that knowing of who you are from moment to moment. Know that you are free, love is freedom. Know that you are free, love is freedom. Know that you are free, love is freedom. Know that you are free and love is freedom. Know that you are free and love is freedom. Know that you are so free, you're free to make the exact same errors and patterns over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You're so free, you can make the same choices over and over and over and over and over and over again, even if it's something that doesn't bring you joy. You're free to keep your pattern going over and over and over again. You are loved so much that you're free to continue to do the same things you've always done, even if it doesn't make you feel good. That's how free you are. You're so free you could put yourself down for the rest of your life and nothing would stop you, because you are loved, you are free. You are so loved, you are so free that you can do it to yourself as long as you like. But there is a limit to pain. 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 There's a limit to pain. There's a limit to pain. So let's look at page 185, and if you got the Course of Love book. I've been trying to suck this candy, and it's the longest lasting candy ever. The more I suck it, the more the bigger it gets. So to speak.
Okay.
It's just a point of view.
It's just
a point of view.
What was that page on?
It's on page 185. I should have never said that to this group back then. I was not thinking at all.
That's your point of view.
It's just my point of view. It's just my point of view.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'm gonna start at paragraph 20, page 31, and we know by now the rules of the Course of Love. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. I'm not trying to convert anybody. You don't have to believe it. It's all right. Okay, you ready? Got the rules. Okay, now. I'm going to start at the sentence that says, the laws of fear were laws of struggle, limits, danger, and competitiveness. The laws of love are laws of peace, abundance, safety, and cooperation. Your actions and the results of your actions in a universe of love, your actions and the results of your actions in a universe of love will naturally be different from your actions and the results of your actions in a universe of fear. You set the laws of the universe when you chose fear. The laws of the universe of love are God-given. So all of the laws that reflect what you have chosen are the laws that reflect fear. And all the laws that reflect what the universe that God has given us, or the Creator has given us, or love has given us, which is the same thing, these are the universe of love. So if the laws of fear give you struggle, limits, danger, and competitiveness, and the laws of love result in peace, abundance, safety, and cooperation, I'd like for you to ask yourself today, which law did you follow the most? Did you follow the laws of thinking about struggle, limits, danger, and some competition? Or today did you mostly focus on peace, abundance, safety, and cooperation? So I'm going to start with you, Bonnie, and you just say love or fear. No judgment, just a point of view, just being honest about what you think you experienced today.
I experienced fear.
Okay.
Fear.
Fear.
Love.
Love. Love.
A little bit of both.
No. Which one did you experience the most?
Probably
Love or
fear
fear?
more.
Thank you. Thank you. There is no in between. Yeah.
Love.
Thank you.
Love.
Okay.
Fear.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank you.
Fear.
Thank you.
Love.
Thank
Love.
you. Oh, I didn't say mine. Fear. Yeah.
Fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear.
Okay.
Love.
Okay.
Fear.
Okay.
Love.
Okay.
Love.
Okay. Remember your answer. Okay.
Fear.
Fear. Thank you.
Love.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Fear.
Fear. Okay, now, fear is the same as resistance. Love is the same as willingness. So I'm going to do it one more time really quickly. And I want you to say either willingness or resistance depending on the answer you gave the first time. What did you experience today?
Resistance.
Resistance.
Willingness.
Say it loud with power.
Willingness.
Okay.
Willingness.
Resistance.
Willingness.
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 Resistance.
Willingness.
Willingness. Resistance.
Resistance.
Willingness.
Resistance.
Willingness.
Willingness.
Resistance.
Willingness.
Willingness.
Resistance.
Resistance.
Resistance. Okay, who would care to share the difference between saying love and fear and willingness and resistance? The difference between when you said fear and the difference between when you said resistance. Anybody? Anybody notice any difference when they said resistance as opposed to fear? Yeah.
Love is willingness,
Mhm.
and fear is the opposite of love.
Right, and when you, if I said I'm afraid, that's, the course teaches that the one thing that we're willing to say is almost anything except I'm afraid. I'm worried, I'm angry, I'm depressed, I have a little anxiety, I'm a little anxious, but usually people don't like to say, you know what, I feel afraid. I felt nothing but fear today. Resistance. Today I felt so much resistance. Notice how neutral and innocent that feels. Not only that, just because you resist something doesn't mean it's not there. So you can say I feel resistance without negating the existence of the thing that you like to experience. I have abundance, but I have a lot of resistance to allowing myself to receive it. There's love in my life, but I have resistance to allowing it in. It has a different kind of a feel to it than I'm afraid of love.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I feel resistance to love. And the truth is, you wouldn't be feeling resistance to love. You would just be feeling resistance to your definition of love.
Yeah.
Whatever you think love is, it's something you resisted.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So today, for me, I felt a lot of resistance. And the resistance was coming from a reaction to all of the willingness and the love.
Oh.
I received so much love and so many opportunities in the last 30 days that I'm feeling the resistance to within me in terms of the part of me that doesn't believe that I deserve that much love. So now I'm resisting it. Because there's a part that thinks that fear protects me and that I'm being much more realistic and practical if I have a certain amount of suspicion and fear about my reality. Anybody else? I believe that if you didn't have some good healthy fear, then something might happen to you. So I actually, as a part of my mind, it actually believes that worry and concern protects me, and if I didn't feel worry and concern, I wouldn't be safe. And that's resistance.
Mm-hmm.
That's resistance. So the course of love is about teaching us how to act from willingness instead of resistance to love by giving us the definition of love or the way to see love that would allow us to be willing to receive it because it would be so safe and it'd be so nurturing and it would be so loving. So it says acceptance of your true power is acceptance of your God-given authority via your free will. When I beseech my Father saying they know not what they do, I was expressing the nature of my brothers and sisters as caused by fear. To accept your power and your God-given authority is to know what you do. Let the fear be taken from this area of your thought so that you can see the application of cooperative action. As long as you fear your own ability to know what you're doing, you cannot be fully cooperative. Wow. So a person that's not fully cooperative is a person who's afraid of their own ability to know what they're doing. There are people that are afraid of their own ability to know what they're doing. So it says the rest of the universe existing in a state of compassionate free will, devoid of fear, the rest of the universe knows what it does. There are no opposing forces that are not in agreement about their opposing force. No atoms do battle. Did you get up? You can imagine what it'd be like if you got up in the morning and all the cells and organs in your body were fighting. You know, your heart's kicking your liver's butt. You know what I'm saying? And your muscles are going, all ganging up on your brain. And that's what it's saying. Really, the natural order of the universe is cooperation. The natural order of the universe is not to do battle. So it's saying that no molecules compete for dominance. The universe is a dance. The universe is a dance of cooperation. You are now being asked to rejoin the dance. Rejoin the dance. Would you like to dance? Would you like to dance? Would you like to dance?
Yeah.
Would you like to do the dance of cooperation?
Yes. Mercy.
This is such cool stuff.
Isn't it?
It says the embrace has returned you to attunement with the heartbeat, the music of the dance. You have not known what you do and what to do only because of fear. You haven't known what you do or what to do only because of fear, only because you have been out of accord with the one heartbeat. The world, the universe is your partner. Your world 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 is your world is your partner. Your partner is your world. I'm dating my world. I'm dancing with my world. Or I'm doing battle with my world.
Wow.
You might need to get a divorce from your world. If your world is not full of cooperation, beauty, support, happiness, and peace, you might need to go, you and your world might need to go get counseling.
Oh dear.
And your world told me that you're always blaming it.
Absolutely.
Like you have nothing to do with what's going on in your world. It's your world's fault.
Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep. The world, the universe is your partner, and only now do you hear the music that brings grace to all your movements, all your actions, all your expressions of love. While this may seem to be metaphorical language, it isn't. Listen, and you will hear. Hear, and you cannot help but rejoice in the dance. You have not before now, I love this, you have not before now been able to even imagine knowing what you do. You hope to have moments of clarity concerning what you are doing in a given moment. You gotta hope you have a moment of clarity in a given moment. What you have done, what you hope to do in the future. You hope that there's gonna be a point in the future that you're gonna actually have a moment of clarity. That there's gonna be some point that one day you're gonna finally have a moment of clarity.
Oh. Soon. Now. Oh, look, they're only fractional.
But even these moments of clarity are fractional. Your moments of clarity seldom have any relation to the whole. Knowing what you do comes from existing within the embrace. You know you do the will of God because you are one with that will. What in the Course says, well, what is God's will? God's will for you is perfect happiness. God's will for you is perfect happiness. Love's will for you is perfect happiness. What created you wants you to have complete happiness. Well, then why don't I have complete happiness if what created me wants to have complete happiness? Well, you haven't exactly gone into agreement with that premise. It's like everybody in this room wants to dance with you, but you don't want to dance.
Don't even want the music on.
Don't even want the music on. I'm waiting for somebody to come get me and take me out on the dance floor. And I'm at home. I'm not even at the dance. I want them to get in the car, come home, get me, and take me to the dance. You know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh. I know so many people who are lonely who don't extend to anybody, and they don't understand the connection. I know people that want friends that never introduce themselves or talk to anybody, but they're baffled as to why they don't have any friends. You know what I'm saying? Do you see people like that in your experience? That they're always complaining, but they're not doing any of the things that they're complaining about that's not happening in their experience.
Been there.
You know, the most miserable person in the world is baffled that nobody that's fun asks them out.
I've done that.
I can just see that now. I'm just happy. Doo-doo-doo-doo. I'm feeling good. I know what I need. A miserable person. I think I'll call one. That's gonna make me feel so much better.
Yeah, slow you down.
Yeah. I'm open. I'm ready to dance. I'm ready to cooperate. And trust. I know. Let me go call somebody who doesn't trust anybody. That's who I need. There's a line in the Course of Miracles where it says that, you know, the follower that doesn't trust the teacher, and I'm not talking about myself necessarily because I don't need any followers.
Well, you got 'em, so you want
Who
'em.
needs it?
You got 'em.
You know, it's like you got to be kind of crazy to even want followers. But I definitely want mighty companions walking beside me, wanting to go to love and peace. I want that. But followers? No, no, thank you. Just the amount of gas you use, just picking them up. You just go broke on the gas. Who needs some followers? Okay. Especially if they don't trust you. You know, could you imagine trying to be a leader who wants a bunch of followers who don't trust you? And you spending all your time trying to convince the followers that it's okay to trust you instead of going ahead and doing the leading, which is going to bring about the change that you want. So rather than all of you all just moving forward because you had the same purpose and goal, you're spending all your time trying to decide whether or not you can trust each other. What a waste of time.
Yeah.
If a person doesn't trust you, it just means they are not trustworthy. They're revealing to you that they are not trustworthy. That's why they see what's untrustworthy in you. They can only see what's untrustworthy in you because they are untrustworthy. So beware of hooking up with somebody that doesn't trust you. And they're suspicious. And they're always trying to get you to prove yourself. Ooh, that's such a waste of time. Ooh, that's such a waste of time.
Doesn't sound like fun either.
It isn't any fun, but it's the natural condition of fearful minds. Is that they're so afraid they think it's smart not trusting anyone, and they don't know it just means they're not trustworthy. That's why they don't trust you, because they know they are not trustworthy. So they figure if they're not trustworthy, you must not be trustworthy. But you don't have to believe any of this. Okay. Then it goes on to say, don't forget the rule of the class. You don't have to believe this. Then I get a chance to say all this stuff. Now, okay, everybody with me on that? You don't have to believe me, right? It's okay. I don't care. It's all right. Okay, just a point of view coming from this material. Okay, so then it goes on to say, bitterness and uncertainty are replaced by hope. Hope is the condition of the initiate, new to the realization of having a home within the embrace. Hope is the response that says to all you have just read, if only it were true. If only it could be true. Notice the complete change in this, if only, from those we have spoken of earlier, the if onlys of fear. If you put half as much faith in these if onlys as you have in the I onlys, if onlys of fear, all the certainty I have spoken of will be yours.
Wow.
In other words, if only the love could be true. If only that I really have the power to create my reality could be true. If only the fact that my Creator loves me unconditionally can be true. If only the idea that I can have loving relationships could be true. If only the idea that I can have fulfillment in the things that I do every day and fulfill my function in a beautiful way could be true. If only the joy and happiness that I think I deserve to have in my life would be true. If only. So now we're being asked to use the if only in a new way. Knowing what you do is a present moment knowing. Knowing what you do is not about plans. It's not about plans. It's not about plans. It's about moment by moment knowing exactly who you are and acting out of that loving identity. It's about from moment to moment knowing exactly who you are and acting out of that loving identity. And it is about knowing that as you do so, you are in accord and enjoying the full cooperation of the entire universe. So if you would like to know the full cooperation of the entire universe, what would you know? You would know who you are, and then you would act out of the realization of knowing who you are. The Course teaches that who you think you are determines what you think your needs are. Who you think you are determines what you think your needs are. So we were just told by Spirit, it's not about planning, it's about knowing who you are and acting out of that. If you do that from moment to moment, everything in your life is going to be taken care of. So you can make all the plans you want to make, Earl, but if you don't have any idea of who you are, the plans are not going to work and they're not going to bring you any kind of joy, any kind of peace. You can plan your little butt off, but if you don't know who you are, and if you're not acting out of who you are, you will not know your power and you will not know your joy. Why are most people depressed? They're depressed because they're not being true to themselves. They're depressed because they're being who the world told them that they are. And they're doing what the world told them they should be doing. The most depressed people in the world are the people who believe in it. Boom! So what are some of the thoughts that crossed y'all's mind when y'all was hearing some of that stuff? Anybody care to share? Since you're among friends? Or you have any questions about anything that I said? Let's pretend we are all friends and we know each other. And we're not afraid. Then we've been coming to this class for months and weeks. Let's just pretend that we've seen each other a while and we just sitting around the table in a restaurant. Okay? And I'll just throw it out there again. What are some of the thoughts that you all have had about some of the things you've heard me say tonight? Anybody? Yes.
I thought it was so interesting when you said the thing about having to choose love or fear, because I was noticing today when you asked the question, it was love, but I have many days where it's fear. But it was funny to me to notice on the days where it's love, I'm like, oh, of course it's love. What? Like when you're in love, you can't even see the fear. But when you're in fear, you can't see the love. Like when you have a day where you're just everything feels like it's going wrong.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you're
you.
like, I know that
Thank
love
you.
is there somewhere, but I sure can't see
Thank
it.
you. I always look at people as if it's two of them. I don't care who I'm with. I just go ahead and say, there's two of you here. You know, there's the you that acts the way you act when you're feeling totally safe and you're feeling totally loving. And then there's the you that acts out when you feel totally afraid and you feel totally defensive. And the two don't speak. So when you're coming out of your love self, you won't even remember, like you say, the crazy you that just went off on somebody yesterday. And when you're in that crazy self that's upset and afraid and distorted, you don't even remember the loving self. Or even I know you all know this from relationships. You'll be in a relationship, and while the relationship is going cool, you're making all kinds of promises to each other about how you're going to always be there for each other no matter what. You just couldn't imagine being upset with each other, just nothing that you could even imagine that the other one would do or ever do that you could ever be upset, etc. And even if it doesn't work out, you're going to be friends. Everybody familiar with that lie? Okay. Now, and then something threatens you and you feel afraid about something, and all of a sudden, you become afraid, and when you become afraid, you have distorted perception, and when you have distorted perception, then you become defensive and protective, and at that point, you are no longer in the loving mind, so you're no longer remembering who you really are. You've forgotten who you really are. You forgot that loving self that said all those things, that is your real self, is that loving self. But now you become afraid, so the loving self is no longer in your awareness because you're always feeling what you're thinking about right now. You're always feeling what you're thinking about right now. So I don't care how good you felt 5 minutes ago. If you're telling yourself something that makes you unhappy right now, you're feeling unhappy right now. But you're not feeling unhappy right now because of something happened a long time ago. You're feeling unhappy right now because of what you're telling yourself right now. You're feeling unhappy right now because of what you're focusing on right now. You're feeling unhappy right now because you're telling yourself something right now. There is a program running in you that has a virus, that has run amok. Your computer hard drive has crashed. And you just running that program over and over again. Nobody can love me. Nobody can love me. Things don't go right for me. Things don't go right for me. Things don't go right for me. I can't trust somebody. Things don't go right for me. There is not love. God is not real. God is not real. God is fear. Love is fear. I'm alone. I'm alone. I feel abandoned. I feel abandoned. I'm always abandoned. Everybody always abandoned me. You know, the tape is running. The digital tape is running. And we're in a digital age. Do you know that when you're in a digital age, that simply means that the copy is an exact replica of the original, and then you can't even tell it apart. At least back in the analog age, when we used tapes and stuff, the tapes would gradually degrade as you copied them over and over and over again. It's not that way with digital. When something's digital and you make a copy of it, I don't care if you make 1 zillion copies, it will be just as perfect as the first one. We're in another level of consciousness now where we get the exact perfect replica of our thinking.
Woo!
The way you think is your life. The way you think is your life. It's what you're experiencing right now. Nobody's doing anything to you, Earl.
Yeah. Oh, this is so cool.
And the sooner you recognize it, the sooner you'll say, I'm feeling disturbed. And I'm feeling disturbed because I'm perceiving something in someone else that is exactly what I've done before myself. I'm feeling disturbed. I'm feeling disturbed because I'm seeing someone do exactly something I have done myself. So I now forgive myself for that action, and therefore I forgive them for that action because they are just reflecting something that I myself have done, because I am the creator of my experience and they're the creator of theirs. And when I see them as reflecting something that I myself have done, then that takes all of the power out of it and it dissolves for both of us. If I see myself as different, then I'm going to perpetuate the illusion, and the problem and the pattern is going to continue to present itself in my life over and over again until I go, it's me! You're so jealous, you're so jealous, you're so crazy, you're so crazy, you're so selfish, 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 you are so selfish. I'm so selfish, 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 and I forgive myself for being selfish. And I choose to look at it another way. That's my call for love. And you know what? I'm the creator of my experience, so I'm going to choose to do it differently now. I feel selfish. I've been selfish. We've both been selfish. Let's choose to move beyond it.
Perfect.
That's how you neutralize an argument. That's how you neutralize a disagreement. That's how you neutralize any situation with anybody that you see yourself as having a problem with right now. You only had a problem because you think you're different. You're not. You're not. You couldn't even see that quality in that person unless it was in your own consciousness. You cannot see a selfish person and not have a selfish thought in your mind. You can't see a murderer without having a murderous thought in your mind. But you also can't see a wealthy, abundant being without having wealth and abundance in your mind. And you can't see a loving, joyful being without having some joy and abundance and joy and happiness in your mind. So that goes for the cool stuff too. But if you want to keep it going, keep telling yourself you're different from the person you're judging and condemning. And that is ordering them. You say to the universe, bring him back. Bring it back in a new form. Bring it back in a new way. Keep on giving me this over and over again in many different ways. You can always tell when you're ready to let go of a pattern, because when you're ready to let go of a pattern, you'll say you're the one making it. Up until that point, you want to keep it going. And it will. Because you are loved and you're free. And nothing in the universe is going to stop you from kicking your butt if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Haven't you noticed? God, this is so easy. Isn't it?
That's so exciting.
Oh, yeah.
It's so easy. Stop blaming people. Stop seeing yourself as a victim. Stop playing poor me, poor me, poor me. Nobody else can love me. Get off it. Get off it. You're wasting valuable time that you could be enjoying yourself. The person you're feeling that way about, They probably partying like a big dog right now. They don't even know you're freaking them out.
Good timing.
I'm gonna be so merciless to everybody around me, and I'm gonna show everybody around me so I'm so miserable, so bad that somebody will notice me. They do notice you, and they avoid you. You, I noticed. Don't go over there. Now, people who are quite unhappy, they're probably not thrilled by this talk tonight, but that's okay. You need somebody to wake your butt up and tell you to get off it. Because you deserve to be happy now.
Right now.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to side with your sadness anymore because I don't want anybody siding with mine. That doesn't mean I don't want compassion. I just don't want agreement. Don't agree with me when I'm saying negative stuff about myself. But that doesn't mean you tell me I'm wrong. It just means you remember who I am when I forget. Yes, you had your hand up.
Yes, I did. Okay, so you were saying that you can't manifest what you want to create if you don't know who you truly are.
Because even if you did, you wouldn't recognize it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you know when you truly know yourself?
The way that you know when you truly know yourself is this. When you truly know yourself, there will not be any fear in you at all, nor any sense of guilt or weakness or powerlessness. And you also won't see any in anyone else. Up until that moment, you're still working it. You still should have your butt in a book or a class, and you should give yourself credit for the progress that you're making. But you don't truly know yourself until you love it. Or better yet, know it loves you. Now, I want you to think of somebody that right now you are very enamored with. That you think right now they're so cool. This doesn't have to be just a lover. It can be anybody in your life that when you think about them, you go, oh God, I'm so glad I know them and have them. I'm so glad they're in my life. I'm so glad they make me feel, I feel so good when I'm with them. You got the person? Okay, now when you have that person, I want you to tell yourself, my happiness doesn't come from them. My love doesn't come from them. My joy doesn't come from them. My joy doesn't come from them. My peace doesn't come from them. My happiness doesn't come from them. You owe it to them to tell them that if you expect that relationship to last. If you want that relationship to last, stop believing your happiness comes from them. So if you truly love them and you truly value their relationship, it's important for you to get to the point that you realize they are not sourcing your joy. They are not sourcing your peace. They are not sourcing your love. They are not sourcing anything. They're just a channel and a conduit for bringing to you that which you are giving to yourself because of how you feel about yourself. They are not originating nothing. Soon as you change the way you feel about yourself, and let's say you're ready to sabotage yourself and you're ready to punish yourself, you're going to do something that's going to generate from that person the reflection of fear back to you that you're giving yourself, unless you're honest with each other about the fact that you haven't learned how to do a perfect love yet. Do not lie to that person and say that you're going to just feel unconditional love for them all the time, no matter what they do. You're setting yourself up. You are going to have experiences where your fear of love is going to come up if it's real love. If it's real love, you're going to have experiences that come up to frighten you because you know some part of you doesn't know what real love is yet. So when it really comes really strong and you feel that value and you feel that union, it's going to bring up that part of you that's a little bit afraid, and that part that's a little bit afraid might do some stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And if you set it up like that person is to believe that you would never get angry, never get upset, never act crazy, as soon as you do it, they're going to feel like you betrayed them and you were a liar. And nothing about your love is real. Don't set it up that way. Accept all of your feelings and emotions. Make every bit of you okay. And don't make some idealized version of how perfect you should be all the time. Be the image of yourself that you're trying to live up to, or you're setting yourself up. And when you need love and you need compassion, it won't be there. Because you won't accept flaws in anyone else. So you want that relationship to last? Then recognize you are a learner, they are a learner. You are a learner, they are a learner. You are a learner, they are a learner. You're both learners. You both want to move toward love. You both got willingness. You both got resistance. You both have willingness. You both have resistance. And don't let the honeymoon period fool you. The purpose of the honeymoon period is to get you into the lesson to begin with so you can learn what you need to learn, because you wouldn't have got into it unless the cheese looked good.
That's right.
You ain't never trapped a mouse with no cheese. Sometimes the cheese is your butt. I mean, I've bitten some butt cheese in my life. That sounds really freaky, doesn't it? Oh, I'm so glad that people come to my class are like me. Oh, I have a lot of guilt around here. Yeah, brother.
I gotta eat past the butt cheese. Hold on.
Okay. Me too, buddy. I'm so glad I got past the butt cheese. That's when sanity happened. It's right on the other side of butt cheese.
Where can I buy this butt cheese?
Oh, yeah, it's plenty to buy.
A question.
Yes. I know I get kind of intense, y'all. I can't help it.
I have a person who, I have quite a few people. I've surrounded myself with people who reinforce the real me and get me back to the real me.
Thank
and
God.
real love and the
Thank
abundance
God.
and love.
Thank God.
And there's a gentleman that I talk to about every single night that and his wife that are doing this type of work
Right.
in California.
Right.
I talk to him every night. Is there a my mother recognizes this, and I got a phone call from my mom today, and she goes, "I recognize this gleam in your eye when you go to visit this family."
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything wrong with that? I mean, as far as and he does not push the things. He say, "Barrett, it's all from inside. It's all coming from you." I'm just here to love you.
Right. A savior is an official reminder of who you really are.
But I'd love to go see this guy.
Could
And
do
I'd like
then
to be
then
in the
see him
presence of this man.
see him more if he wants to see you more. It's always great to invest in that which you want to experience more of. If we were to focus our attention on more of the things and the people in our lives that we feel in peace and joy with, we would be amazed at how quickly the rest of the areas that cause us pain will begin to heal themselves.
Right.
We've been taught exactly the opposite. Spend all your time focusing on the problem areas and don't spend any of your time on the areas that give you peace and joy. And it's backwards. It's not correct. The thing that you focus on and give energy to expands. Anything that you focus on all the time and give energy to expands. And if all your time is focused on fixing yourself, you're increasing the belief that you're broken. And I'm here to tell you, you're not broken. You are not broken. Don't try to fix yourself. You're not broken. You just want to recognize and release any blocks that keep you from realizing that you are not broken. It's an undoing process. It's not a doing. You're not asked to do anything anymore. You're in the situation that you're in, Earl, because of your doings. So the answer is to undo. Right. So this person helps you undo any thoughts about yourself that are not whole and complete and loving. And so that is the most valuable person in the world for you. That's why if you're going to have a one-on-one relationship with somebody, you need to be really clear what it is you want to be reinforced about yourself, because that person is going to be the one you give the most attention and energy to. So therefore, they are your most consistent reflection coming back at you. And so to choose someone to reflect yourself back to you that never reflects joy and peace and happiness and appreciation to you would merely be a reflection of your own desire to never know how wonderful you are because you think you're worthless. So your partner is a reflection of your own self-value.
Yes.
I don't look at people. I look at the world that they exist in and they function in and they express in, because that's what's telling you who they really are. Because it is your creation, and you should look at it with curiosity and with love. You should go, my God, I acted an absolute fool last night at that party. Wow, that was one of my creations. That was a really curious thing to do. Whoa, I was on top of that table naked with a lampshade on my head. Wasn't that a very interesting way to spend the evening? Whoa, that's one of my creations.
But but where I'm going with this a little bit too is there you explained this being exactly. He was a reflection of all abundance and love and joy and stuff, that I want them to see in the mirror. and believe in myself and everything like that. Is there a codependence though, kind of a thing that I want to get out there and visit?
You want to do
and be
divine
with them?
codependency. You want to do divine codependency. Codependency is a good thing. Go, I love codependency. 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 Yes, it's about time we became codependent. It's good to be codependent.
Wow.
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 It's a good thing to be codependent. We are codependent. We already are codependent. All we need to do now is use holy codependence, innocent codependence, which would be, until I come to realize the truth about myself and know how beautiful I am happy that I have people in my life that are reflecting that value back to me to help me accept it while I am learning to accept it on my own. I'm also learning to accept it on my own, but I don't mind having some training wheels, and I'll call those training wheels my friends and the people in my life that seem to really appreciate me. They're my training wheels, and I'll surely get to the point one day where I don't need that in order to feel good about myself, but I'm damn glad that it's there when I'm in the process of learning how. It's like somehow it's to your advantage not to give yourself loving reflections, because that means you're dependent on somebody else for your happiness. Doggone it, if you're upset all the time, it already means you believe everybody else is responsible for your happiness. That's why you're mad. You're already that way. So go ahead and join with some people that want the same thing you want.
That's sweet.
That's just too simple. You can't be this simple. I'm never coming back to this class. No. Because unless you tell me who needs to make a sacrifice in order for me to be happy, unless you tell me who's supposed to change what they're doing and do it differently so that they'll please me, I don't hear any answer you saying, black man.
Except for the cheese thing.
Except for the cheese butt. That's what everybody remember. Earl did a class last Thursday. It was about butt cheese. And that's going to be the name on this website when I put it online. Butt cheese. And that bitch is going to get more hits than any class that I've ever done. It's like, butt cheese. Wow, we got to take a look at this class to see what he was talking about.
Call it Uranus retrograde.
That's right. That's right. Uranus is retrograde. That's right. That's exactly what's going on with me. There's nothing wrong with retrograde Uranus. That's right. I'm an astrologer. I give everybody permission to have a retrograde Uranus. Don't worry about it. It's a good thing.
Thank you. That was.
Yeah. It's like, I'm so. Would you answer it for me? That's exactly what I'm realizing in my life right now. It's like I need to ask myself, who are the people in my life that when I'm around them, I get more of a sense of the love that I am.
Thrive off.
Yeah. That you know, it's and also here you want to have more miracles with him. The way that you would have more miracles with him would be for you to, in this moment right now, say, we are equals.
Yes.
I bring as much benefit into his experience as he brings into mine. Because equality is the basis of healing, and equality is the basis of the miracle. The Course teaches you can never have a healing with someone that you think is different from you. That you're never going to be happy with someone you think is different from you, even though in the world we are taught to go after that idealized self that seems to have qualities that we don't have and possess and get them for ourselves, which the Course teaches just makes you feel guilty because you feel like you're getting this great gift, but you're not giving anything but yourself in return. So there's guilt built into that whole process.
Yeah.
You're bringing all this good stuff to me, but I don't really have anything that I'm really offering you as good. And so it's based on inequality, and relationships based on inequality end up in conflict and end up in most cases ending. So I'm equal, we're the same. I don't see myself, this is a role that I'm playing, and the role that I'm playing is the role of letting this information come through me. It has nothing to do with higher or lower.
No. Sweet.
You with me?
Totally with you, man.
You with me?
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I want to read one more paragraph before we get ready to head into the home stretch, unless somebody else has a pressing question or comment that they need to make. Yes?
I just like to say, I just love this because I think we've gone over this 2 or 3 times, where it says you are but asked to rejoin the dance. I just love that.
Me too.
The way that the
Me too.
phrases in this book is
Me too.
Beautiful.
Me too. I love to dance. So the whole idea of rejoining the dance feels good to me, because I feel like for a while I've been pretty much sitting out watching everybody else dance. I might have rocked in the chair. I might have snapped my fingers, but I haven't been out on the dance floor for 10 years. And now I'm being invited to get back out on the dance floor again. It's like, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm trying to ride this wave. Do you know I'm going back to the UK next month?
Wow.
They're bringing me back to the UK next month. A whole nother group of people.
All right.
Perfect.
To bring in the new year. And there's something going on, and I'm just letting the Holy, but it's bringing up every ounce of my stuff. It's bringing up every ounce of my stuff. Tickets to the UK aren't cheap, you know, and so what's happening with me is it's making me even more determined to give more love and the best that I can give right here. Because it would be a trick of my ego for me to start to believe that my happiness is in Europe, even though I'm completely glad of the opportunity to go back and express myself. But it would be a trick if I started to tell myself that my happiness isn't where I'm located. Because whenever you tell yourself that your happiness isn't where you're located, then you're not happy at where you're located. So my happiness is always in the next city, the next person, the next finances, the next lost weight, the next new job, the next new lover. It's always the next, the next, the next, the next, the next, the next, the next. And then when you begin to wake up, you be going, no, the present is the point of my point of power. Who are the people I need the most? The people in front of my face. Who are the people I need the most? The people in front of my face. Who are the people that my happiness can come through the most? The people in front of my face. Whoever's in front of my face. Whoever's in front of my face is the most important person of all. Why? Because out of all the people in the world, this is the person in front of my face. But what does my ego say? My ego says, no, it's not the person that's in front of your face, it's the person you're fantasizing about. You don't fantasize about this person. This isn't a person you feel a lot of special feelings, so they certainly couldn't be as important as the person that you have all of your fantasies about. Well, if that person that you had all your fantasies about was the most important person in that moment, they'll be in front of your face. Who are the most important people in my life right now, more than my children, more than my family, more than anybody in my life? This group of people right here, right now. Why? Because you're right here, right now. And whatever I'm going to experience is going to come through us right here, right now. So I'm learning how to be present, because present is where my power is. That's why he said you don't have to plan. You don't have to plan, because if you know who you are and you're in the present moment, you know what you should do. If I am love and I'm in this moment, what I should do is love. And out of that love, everything that's supposed to happen will happen. And you know what? I don't even want to know the details of that, because I would love the surprise of having something new and different happen in my life that's just not a repetition of something I've done before.
Yes.
And every time you make a plan, it's just going to be another variety of something you've already thought of before with some new color, a taste, or flavor on it. You know it is. All of your plans are just stuff you've thought of before, and you're trying to think of new ways to do the same thing you've done before. And so your plans really are not about bringing anything new into your life. It's just a new form of the same old stuff. Oh, this is going to be the job I like. Well, and that's just another job. This is going to be the relationship with the person that just blah, 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 blah. Well, haven't you had that thought before? And it's just another. Why don't you resign as your own teacher? Based on the results of what you've done and the impermanence of the joy that you've given yourself, why don't you just turn in your resignation? Why don't you just go to the desk of God and say, I resign now as my own teacher of love. Will you please send me all the love that I need to come into my life right now to allow me to recognize the truth of who I am and everybody else? I'm open to your will, love. I don't know who my perfect partner is. I don't know what my perfect job is. All I know is I'm here to give and receive love. So when I get scared thinking about what I'm going to do overseas or anywhere else, the first thing I do, if I'm coming here to teach this class, all I'm thinking about is how can I give and receive love? So when you come in a lot of times early and I seem like I'm totally detached, it's because I'm focusing in on my purpose and allowing my purpose to come through, and I'm usually late setting up. And so, so you know, but that's all that's going through my mind. That's every frustration I give myself comes from how can I allow myself to be a better conduit and channel for love for the people that come into this room. That's what I'm all, because that's my only function, and that's your only function. And when you say one day, and it's going to happen one day, you're going to wake up and you're not going to ask for a house, you're not going to ask for a car, you're not going to ask for money, you're not going to ask for sex, you're not going to ask for a relationship, you're not going to ask for clothes, you're not going to ask to lose that 10 pounds, you're not going to ask any of that stuff. You're going to get up one morning and you're going to ask, how can I recommit myself to having everything in my being, unlike love, rooted out and released. Because you will know every area of your life is a reflection of that, whatever that is. And then the universe rushes to your aid, sends you everything and everybody that helps you love yourself faster because you finally asked for what really matters. Thank you. Give it to you. Give it to you. Give it to you. Whoa. Whoa. Man, I love teaching what I need to learn. I had my 30th anniversary of studying the Course in Miracles Sunday.
Wow.
And I cannot tell you how much better my life is than what it was 30 years ago. Just can't even put it into words. And what's cool, the Course teaches that you do it for everybody else. So you don't have to take 30 years to make the same realizations that I made in 30 years because I already made them for you. He says that's the way it works. You're always learning for everybody.
Thank you.
So sometimes I hear people say, well, if you've been studying the Course in Miracles for 30 years and you still get angry, what hope is there is for me? Well, I had done the 30 years of anger for you. Oh, that ought to at least count for a good love offering or something.
Something.
Something, Jesus.
Are you just exhausted or?
If somebody was called tomorrow and said the whole thing is off, you know what I would do? I would go, thank you very much, because I gave my life to God, and so for me, anything that happens in my life now is part of God's will for me, and it's for my own best interest, even if I don't understand, and even if it looks like it's something I don't like. So it takes so much pressure off of me. First thing, I would feel my feelings about it, and then I would tell myself, my God, there is some incredible benefit that I didn't end up going to Europe. Or if I'm attracted to something or attracted to someone and that doesn't happen, it'll go, oh my God, I was saved. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Lord. Thank you. I grew up in where we said the Lord. I like those terms now. I used to have a lot of resistance to all that stuff, but now that I know that it doesn't mean anything, I can say anything and feel okay about it. You know what I'm saying? I can even say Jesus. Jesus. Christ. You know, I was taught so much fearful stuff around those terms that I know that's why a lot of my spiritual material comes to me using that terminology to help me get past those blocks. That's why it comes to me this way, so that I no longer associate fear with those words and learn the correct perception of those words. You know, so that's why the Course in Miracles came to me, masculine terminology, Christian terminology. That's why it says a lot of those supercharged words that I used to couldn't stand to hear when I thought I was so open-minded. I was a paragon of metaphysical truth, but if someone said Christ, but I was the most open-minded, you know, beyond that stuff. So I can't even believe people still believe that stuff, Christ. You know, that means you believe it. The Course says whatever you revolt against, you believe in. Whatever you fight the hardest is what you believe in. The person that's most anti-gay is the gayest person in the world. Okay. You better believe it. Yep. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Because we're not our bodies anyway, and love has nothing to do with the body. Love doesn't have anything to do with the body. But the body is just one way. The Course says the body, sharing the love through the body is the way that we do it while we're still seeing it so dimly. I love that. You know, you see love really dimly, so go ahead. The body's the best you can do it. But you surely come to realize that you can't love everybody in the body. It's too many of them. You'll never keep up.
You can try.
You can try. I tried. And I'm here to report you cannot do it. I gave it a good shot. You should have known me in the 90s. You would have had a good time. But anyway. That was my decade of making all the mistakes a teacher can make. And enjoying it. That's the name of my book. But how to enjoy all the mistakes a teacher can make. Because the teacher becomes a projection screen of everybody that comes. And so they project all of that stuff on, because he's supposed to be perfect. You know, he's got to be perfect. You know, I should be levitating above the chair this very moment. You know. I'm so glad I took that crap off of me. Because when I put it on me, everybody else put it on me. I'm not putting it on me, nobody's putting it on me. But even if they are putting it on me, I don't know it because I don't care.
So it doesn't stick it
So
off.
it doesn't make any difference. I finally got to the point that I believe that someone will always love me, including me. I don't, at least up to that point. That I go, I love me, but I really believe until the day I make my transition, there will always be at least one person in this world that will be loving me.
I think so.
I know that. I don't have any doubt about that. And the people who love you constantly change because your capacity to receive love constantly changes, and sometimes you need people who can reflect the level of love that you can handle right now. Especially when the people in your life reach their limit and how much they're willing to be loved themselves. So if they're not willing to be loved themselves, they're not going to be able to receive your love. So sometimes when it looks like you're not receiving love, it just means that the people you're around also have not gotten to the point that they can allow more love to come to them. So they can't give you more. Because no one gives any more than what they can receive. So you may be keeping yourself limited to situations where you are beyond that and you don't even know it. How can you tell when you're beyond a teacher or a person? Because they will always be asking you to do something more complicated than what you feel like you need to do to reach the same state. They might be saying you need to do long, complicated rituals, that you need to read 1,000 different things, that you got to make 100,000 you know what I'm saying? You got to travel all over everywhere. But the more advanced you get in your consciousness, the simpler everything will become. You'll see God in a cup of tea.
So you can't give any more. Wait a minute. See if I've got that right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give any more than you're willing to receive.
Right.
Is that
That's why
what you
people who don't love themselves. Like I gave somebody a compliment just the other night. That was one of the most sincere compliments that I could ever give someone, and I was coming strictly from my heart. The person looked back at me and said, "Whoa! I'm amazed at how quickly I got to the point that I just didn't believe you. I just didn't believe you, and it shocked me that what you were saying was so awesome. I just flat didn't believe you." And I've seen that in relationships to women in my life, where I would say what I really, really felt, and they would think it was a line and I was being insincere. Or it would say something like, "Well, you tell everybody you love them." I said, "Yeah, but that's why you can believe it." And that really freaks people out. Because they don't know that real love is something that you share give to everyone. That anything that's real is something that goes out to everyone. But that doesn't mean you're going to express it to everyone the same way in the body. But I'm suspicious of anyone who only loves me. That's opposite to the world, folks. In the world, it's all about you just loving me.
Yeah.
Because I need validation. I don't really love myself completely, and I need you to hide from me how I feel about myself. And the way you're going to hide from me how I feel about myself is just I'm going to be a full-time job of validation. Okay? I want you to only validate me all the time. If you don't, you don't love me. It's like, how much does that pay you? You got to be paying me a big salary for this kind of commitment. Lord, you mean my whole day is supposed to be spent making you feel like you're valuable? Jesus. When we gonna go to the movie? What? So tell me you love everyone. Tell me you want to love everyone. Tell me you want to be free. Tell me you want to know who you really are. Tell me you want to have peace. Tell me you want to do what you want to do. Tell me you want to follow your heart. Tell me you want to be true to yourself. I trust you now. Tell me you wouldn't put me before your happiness. Tell me that you wouldn't make me more important than your peace. Tell me that. Now I feel a little safer. That's just the opposite of how I was taught. And that's how I know it works. That's how I know it must work. Because it's the opposite to the way the world does it. Yeah. That's how you can always want something. You want something to be true, go, what does the world think? then you go, oh, the truth is just the opposite.
Yeah.
And you have so much joy. It's like that Seinfeld show where George made the decision one day that he was going to do everything the opposite of the way that he's ever done everything in his life. So if he was shy about talking to a woman, he'd walk up to her and say something. Well, he'd say, "You the most beautiful thing I got to have." He said, "Hey, it don't really make any difference whether I spend time with you or not." Every time he did the opposite of what he usually does, something good happened to him and it freaked him out until at the end of the show he had achieved more than he had ever achieved in his life. That's what I say to us. Do the opposite of what you do to have an opposite experience than what you're having right now. If that experience is not bringing you peace, do just the opposite of what you normally do and see what happens. If you believe in sin, don't. If you believe you're separate, then say, "I'm joined." If you think you're a victim, say, "I am responsible, I am the creator." If you think you're alone, say, "I'm connected to a lot of people." Act just the opposite. If you're the one that sits in the corner and never says anything ever, then you should come to the class and ask a question. If you talk all the time, then you're the one that should listen sometime. Do it just the opposite of the way you normally do it and watch what happens in your life. If you rush headlong into relationships without thinking about it, then what you need to do is say, "Let's talk about it." If you're so cautious that it takes 900 years for somebody to get next to you, you need to say, "Let's have a one-night stand." You need to do it just the opposite of the way you do it so you can finally have what you want. If you tight and you don't share nothing and you always claim you broke and you're going to give when you get something, you the one that need to give your last dollar. I give the most when I think I'm most in lack. Do just the opposite.
That's good.
The truth is the opposite to fear. Yeah, and that's what I want. That's what I want for you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Take a breath right quick. Please, please, please. Here's the question before we walk out into the world. You are funky and cute. Don't get fooled by the butt cheese. Don't get fooled by the butt cheese, or the intelligence cheese, or the money cheese, or the cute cheese, or the intelligent cheese, or the where they live cheese, or the what they have cheese. But know that if you're attracted to someone and you form a relationship with them, it means you're being given another opportunity to see what real love is. And in that opportunity, realize that you chose them because they reminded you of something you needed to forgive, and that was why you were attracted to each other in the first place, because you knew you had a forgiveness lesson, and this was the person that you wanted to learn it with. Because I mean, if you're going to learn how to forgive, it would be fun to do it with somebody you get off on. It seems that way to me. So here's your question. Would an infinite being truly choose the life that I'm living right now? And if you say it wouldn't, then acknowledge that you are an infinite being and you can make a new choice. I am an infinite being and I choose God's will for me, which is perfect happiness. I am an infinite being and I choose love's will for me, which is perfect, complete happiness. And when you go for it, things that are unlike that, it's going to come up now. I'm telling you, it's going to come up. The feelings of worthlessness and not being enough are going to come up as you pour love into yourself. But continue to pour the love into yourself and let the unworthiness come over the edge of the pail and flow out on the ground until you have a clear pail of nothing but the love for yourself. So if things seem cloudy right now, if the water seems muddy right now, if it seems like things are really stirred up right now and you're tempted to back off of your truth and back off of this new direction, you need to give it to yourself more intensely than you've ever given it to yourself before. Don't turn the water off. 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 If you're scared as heck right now, turn the faucet up. Get that dirt out of the bottom of that pail. It's all stirred up right now. I know the water in the pail is muddy. That's because you got so much clean water going into it that it's got everything stirred up. Don't turn off the water and let the dirt settle back down to the bottom of the pail again, and then you think everything is all right. Keep the water coming. Keep the truth coming. Keep the water coming. Keep the truth coming. Keep the truth coming. Keep the truth coming. Let the truth come. Let the truth come. After me, please. I am juicy.
I am juicy.
I am cute.
I am cute.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am abundant.
I am abundant.
I am spirit.
I am spirit.
I am free.
I am free.
I am love.
I am love.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
And the only afterward message is, don't do it again. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for coming out, Holy Spirit. Awesome. Would you give it to yourself? Would you mind giving it to yourself? Even if you got resistance about giving it to yourself. Overcome your ego. Overcome your ego. Overcome your ego. Don't let it win all the time. I know that's right. I'm glad we have each other. God bless you. Hugs are available.